Hey guys, so I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and when you watch this, I want you guys to remember that this is kind of like a case study, and although the person is real, I don't want you go attacking them or anything like that because we don't know what they're going through mentally, physically, or emotionally. And on top of that, I also want you guys to realize that this is like done in the perspective of hindsight. Like we have the benefit of hindsight here, but I want you guys to kind of see how your weird emotions or out of control emotions can really wreck your trading account or even actually wreck your life as well. Now, with that out of the way, I'm not going to bait you to the end of the video. You're more than welcome to stay to see my thoughts and analysis on it. But essentially, my opinionated answer is that it's not that this person can't trade. It's that I don't think this person should be trading. They have failed 10 times and they have not actually even taken the moment to reassess why they failed, and they seem more geared upon getting more attention and sympathy for them failing rather than actually focusing on what's wrong to essentially dig themselves out and make those adjustments needed to start making money. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, to set the stage for a case study, Al is between the ages of 20 to 28. I determined that he was arrogant, that he seemed more oriented in looking for fame or possibly just some sort of attention, and he wanted to do it by any means necessary, like either being a victim of the market or actually succeeding. But I think deep down he really just wanted to make it in that like one quick shot, or I think that they kind of Al kind of like tried to oversell his skills a little bit, and I think he basically went as far as like convincing himself that he was actually better than everybody else. But people like this with huge egos like that, they tend not to see outside of themselves. He was very highly emotionally unstable, and that was very evident when I was watching this person's behavior, how they would lash out at people for the smallest things, or when a competitor is just doing slightly better than him that isn't one of his friends. To be clear, a year ago, I did know about this person. I just didn't pay any attention to them because I just assumed that they were going to blow themselves out and just leave. But what I didn't know, or what I didn't really expect, was that eventually when they did come back recently, they said that initially in the beginning that their trading was mostly done on a demo platform. And if you guys don't know about demo platforms, the long and short of it is basically you can get unrealistic fills, and not only that, it's 20 minutes delayed. So if you can know about big events or big moves happening 20 minutes before it happens and replicate it on a demo account, you have such a stark advantage, and it'll seem like you always know something before it happens and you get out at the right time and all that sort of stuff. So that's like stuff that I didn't think that would actually, keep him relevant for a long time, but he disappeared, and all the data's kind of gone now. So the only thing I have right now is basically the current data, which is when he's come back. And I basically tried to examine his trading after that. I still haven't changed my opinion on him because he's basically just doing the same thing, and he's trying to do it in a more open sort of sense, but it's not as open as you think it to be. That whole adage of like once a liar always a liar. I mean, this is the whole, like, if you guys have dated anybody before, they've always said don't date anybody that cheats on people. They don't change. I think what also made it worse was that this person mentioned a name, and I decided to go down that rabbit hole, and it followed to an article linking with this person's name, talking about like how great they were and all that sort of stuff, which then led to the original course creator where this person actually learned it. And the person who was teaching this little course thing had a chat room and everything, and I was aware of this person for a couple of years now, and there's a fine line in his website that says that this individual does all his trades on demo and they are at least 20 minutes delayed, but people still pay for it because essentially these things are marketed towards people who are I wouldn't say greedy, I would say more so desperate for a quick way to make money. And I don't fault them for it because that's just kind of the business, but like I just don't like personally preying on people who are financially vulnerable. I guess that's just me. I've seen so much shit in my life. All right, so to sort through this, basically at this point, Al has basically joined one of those like many trading combines, and I've been to prop firms before, and like I guess I'm kind of spoiled in that sort of sense because we didn't have to put any money up. There are prop firms out there nowadays where they basically match your capital. It's zero risk to them, and people pay for it. And unfortunately, that's just become the new standard because people are willing to pay money to essentially enter these prop firms, which, you know, in my opinion, it's absolutely ignorant. But, you know, it is what it is. There are different rules and metrics. So like daily stop limit, you have to make X amount of trades because, you know, you could basically just do a one-shot wonder situation. And, you know, I believe that it is this game for these types of things are rigged highly against you because there are some obscure rules, like you can't, because it's day trading, you can't hold orders in your blotter, otherwise you fail. You have to, you know, maintain a certain consistency with P&L. So basically you're making money every single day. And anybody that really knows me from TSG's community will tell you that I've always said, you know, just because you're a day trader doesn't mean you have to trade every single day. And that holds true because there are some days, weeks, even months, even like several months where, you know, you're not going to see the same setup that you originally had. And you could see, yeah, he got up pretty high in his first initial run and everything. Biggest blah, blah, but then he failed. And it's because he left an order out there accidentally overnight. So he failed, and then obviously he decided to spin the wheel again, this time with more money. Now, I've heard this argument before about how, you know, if only I had more money, blah, blah, and that it would have essentially softened the cushion, it would have came back and all that sort of stuff. That actually stems from a lack of, first of all, responsibility, and second of all, you're not accepting that your initial trade was wrong. And by adding more money to, you know, your trades and stuff like that, you're only magnifying your losses, and you're not accepting. You're basically doing a mental gymnastic to not accept that you were wrong in the initial. You just feel so compelled to be right, and that is extremely, extremely devastating to any sort of trading account at any size. Moving on here. So the first time he failed, he had about $1,500, and then the next time he failed, he had about $1,000, as seen here. And moving along, yeah, he made that blah blah, that sort of thing. Now then he just like, when we get to about a week later, he just basically failed again, like in a single day. And, you know, people will do this, and let me just add this to there. So people will do this because essentially when you're basically treating it like a one-shot ordeal, you're not taking it very seriously, which is fine. You know, if you don't want to treat it seriously, then that's up to you. But what I could see is it really reflects in your trading. And you know, he didn't really post some of these, but the only reason I knew about them was because he would mention it really quickly, but then delete it really quickly. And I do have someone in there that kind of fed me the information. I believe this was account number 10 that he failed, but he only showed about half of them. So, you know, if that's not sketchy, then I don't know what is. But that's only futures. How does he do in the other departments? So the first one he took was an option, and then he later talked about getting shares short of the stock, and then later he said he was long. I have a problem with just using this as a data point personally, because at no point does he ever specify a time, price, or any of those things that would actually, you know, essentially tell you whether he was actually profitable or not in that trade. So for that, I can't use that data, so I'm just ejecting it. But I'm leaving it up here, so if you actually do want to go through with it, you can, but for the most part, I think it's just a waste of time. But I do want to move on to the stuff that he actually did openly talk about, where he actually did specify a price. And I believe it was Tesla. It was back in August when he went short. This was just before their battery day and the lead up to battery day. And as you can see through his tweets and everything, like he was down about $1,000 max in that position. He was short about 2 shares. He went halvesies with someone else, and you know, eventually it did come back, and he did get out after the split at 360 or so. So he made about, you know, let's see. So he made about $204, but that's after risking an unrealized loss of $1,000, which I'm not saying I know this person very well, but I can guarantee you he wouldn't have got out until he got margin called. So that basically kind of sums up a lot of what I've seen and kind of tried to fact check with Al. So if you kind of want to avoid becoming like Al, the first thing you need to do is you need to get a grip on your emotions. And this has to be like virtually everything. You can't go into the market with anger. You can't go in the market with desperation. You can't go to the market with like any of those like types of emotions that, essentially encourage you to be a gambler or essentially degenerate is what I'm trying to say. Again, like not everybody is great at like essentially shutting off their emotions, and I get that, but you have to be able to determine where that limit is, and that's something that no one else can do other than yourself. So the second one is actually very simple. It's to actually formulate a plan/strategy. Al, from what I can tell, just kind of just rides off the seat of his pants. And, the thing with formulating a plan and strategy is that, yes, you can take ideas from other people. And, the thing with that idea is that a lot of people think that, this is the only way to trade, but it's not. There are certain components that work well for a strategy and certain ones that don't. And it's up to you as the trader to basically weave together a strategy that works for you. So the third one is after you basically searched for or just took a gander at some strategies, the third thing you really need to do is you need to document and adjust your strategy after getting that data. And what I mean by data is basically when you look at your trades, you look at your journal, you see what you're feeling, what could have affected you during those trades, how you could have adjusted it to avoid losses or stuff like that. It's all fine tuning to see if it's working or not. So if you can't even do any of these basic steps, and I know that there is a mountain to climb, especially since, these are very broad spectrum points, but if you find yourself not even able to do any of the basic ones or even getting started to do any of these, I think you should just walk away. And I kind of stick with that point, especially if you're Al. Look, I'm just trying to be real here. If you're like Al, and Al's been trading for about 5 years or so, you can be trading, but as far as I can tell, he's basically put in a lot of money and not taken out a single dime. And there is no long game there. It's just losses. So hopefully you took something out of this. Essentially, don't be like Al. Negative emotions like that can really destroy a trading account, let alone stuff outside of trading, which it can easily bleed into. I'm hoping that you did take something useful out of this, and if you did, please leave me a like. If you want to know a little bit more or ask some questions, stuff like that, just leave me some comments. I'll try to respond to them as best I can. I do want to note also, I am starting a $1,000 challenge to basically give you guys the insight of from the ground up, how should I approach trading, how should I start and everything, and hopefully that'll kind of save you a few $1,000s from all these courses that are out there right now. I'm just going to give it to you for free. And just remember, just because you're a day trader doesn't mean you have to trade every single day.